Stitch. You know that weird noise he makes when he's like...
I can't do it.
I don't think that's accurate. What are you trying to do? That sounds like a Minion and Stitch and like all horribly mangled and mashed together. Okay, I'm
Welcome to the Snastcast.
Welcome.
The place with all your Snast needs.
What you want? The Snast. We got the Snast. Whatever it is.
Casting it to you,
Dude, you fucked it up.
Right
You could have totally had a perfect line there.
What?
You asked for the Snast? No, wait. What'd you say?
What?
What did you say?
I don't know. I was like, you want a Snast? We'll give it to you.
No.
We got all of them.
You want a Snast? We got the cast.
What? Are we gonna cast some Snasts? Are we gonna cast them in resin? Do we sell casted resin Snasts?
We sell those little scorpions in the little.
In the lollipops.
Yeah.
No, not those.
Tequila flavored.
The ones you buy at.
The ones in resin.
What's that place called?
Those aren't in resin.
Axeman?
Yeah, the one you buy. The ones you buy at Axeman.
You mean amber? Are you thinking?
Yeah, it's like an amber or something.
Oh yeah, the fossilized tree sap.
Stick a little needle in there, extract its DNA, and you can clone.
Isn't that what they do in Jurassic Park?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Wait, so, but they
Stealing from.
But they didn't have dinosaurs in amber.
No, but they had the mosquito in amber, and they got the blood out of the mosquito because the mosquito drank the blood of the dinosaurs because mosquitoes totally existed back then.
That's fucking retarded.
Didn't they?
That is so stupid.
I think they did, but they were way different.
Well, something like there was probably something that sucked blood.
How does a mosquito bite a dinosaur?
Like ticks?
I mean, dinosaurs got thick skin. Like,
You better ask Michael Crichton.
Inside the nose of it.
Michael Crichton knows the answers to.
He wrote it.
The Jurassic and the Triassic and the. I don't know the other ASICs.
But that's a good point. How can it...
Oh, guys, we got to talk about something relevant.
We have to say our names, too.
Oh, yeah. That's not relevant, though.
Are you sure? Well,
so we'll get to it
It
later.
is relevant. It's relevant to... What's your name?
Fine. I'm John.
I'm Jake.
And I'm Grant.
Yeah, we know you're Grant. We know.
It's good to know, yeah. So what's the relevant thing that's on your mind?
Yeah.
I think we saw some sort of movie or...
What? No, I thought we went to I thought we went to a midget strip club.
No, that was before the movie.
Ah.
Or was the movie about a midget strip club?
What was its name? I don't remember it at all.
It was like them or we.
Yeah.
It was some pronoun like there.
Yeah.
Him?
It was a name that really stuck out.
No, maybe it was one of the like why questions like who?
Maybe
what?
Maybe it was
where?
Maybe it was like
where?
him. But
It had something to do. It had something to do with IT, like.
Information technology.
Office Space.
Did we see Office Space?
We might have gone to the theater.
I don't remember Office Space being that scary.
Oh, it was pretty scary.
And with that many kids.
So if you haven't gotten it by now, we saw the movie It, based on the hit Stephen King novel of the same name.
We finally saw it.
It was when it first. How many records did it break? It was like the biggest opening for an R-rated movie, I think it was.
That was
really?
Yeah, and it made. Because
that's
the thing. The biggest movies usually.
Like
one accessible.
The theater that we
audience, so
went to. Theater that we went to.
Titanic, Avatar, Force Awakens.
There's no one there. Usually at the theaters that we.
At the theater we were at, I don't know. There were plenty of people.
Yeah, there were plenty of people, but usually it's like dead.
Fucking teenagers, kids.
Yeah, because the people only go to that theater for the biggest movies.
Yeah.
The biggest movies.
The only thing they have.
The most epic movies.
I don't know what the most obscure movie I ever watched there.
Probably, what was the name of that fucking movie? With the warehouse and the guns.
Oh, Free Fire?
Free Fire is probably the most obscure movie I've seen there.
I suppose, yeah.
I didn't watch that.
I almost completely forgot about that movie after watching
fucking
it.
Sucked.
Yeah.
Do not watch Free Fire.
But it wasn't that bad. It was pretty...
No, Free Fire was that bad.
Oh, I was saying it.
Free Fire.
I know, I was talking about it too. Free Fire sucks.
I didn't watch.
Oh,
I didn't watch that movie.
Who's on first on me?
Is he?
Yeah, he is.
Well, what's on second then?
Kingsman, the new Kingsman movie, because it's the second one. I don't know.
A DVD copy of the second Kingsman movie?
Yes. It's on
just sitting on second plate?
Sorry,
second base.
Yeah. Second, just sitting there.
I don't know.
Okay, it was a scary movie. It was pretty good. It was better than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I was...
It felt like a very well-rounded movie.
Yeah, I thought they did a pretty decent job with pacing. You know,
like
each
everything
kid got
about
their
it
time
was...
to shine with the scary moments.
Well, toward the end, the pacing picked up a little too much, I think, because they were like, "Oh God, we're running out of time. We need to keep this under 2 hours."
They don't want to make it a 3-hour movie.
Yeah, go. You gotta force these kids into the sewer. Get it done.
It'd be interesting watching like a 3-hour version with like a...
With the future.
Yeah. Or like with the steady pacing.
I would imagine when they... Well, I don't know. I imagine we're going to talk about plot details, so the spoilers are already in sync. But if you stay after the credits... Or not... Wait, no. No, you don't. At the very end of the movie, it says Chapter 1.
Oh,
implying there will be a sequel or sequels, which...
Well, because the old...
Gun in my mouth.
The old miniseries movie or whatever, it was... First half was them as kids, and the second half was them as adults.
As the book is.
But this movie is only them as kids.
Yeah.
That whole story's movie, which I appreciated. I feel like if they tried to do the whole thing, it wouldn't have worked.
I think the consensus is that in the book, and I guess a TV movie, I don't know much, is that the kids part is like way better. Like it's this far superior part of the novel. So
like they'd be rushing it. They'd be trying to squeeze in so much.
I can't just. I don't know what ensemble cast. I thought one thing I will say I really liked about this is they picked a lot of unknowns and a lot of people. Like the most known the only person who really stuck out was the kid who played Richie, Finn Wolfhard or whatever his name.
Is that his name?
Yeah, Finn Wolfhard.
Finn Wolfhard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gosh, I wish I had that name.
It's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
And he was the main kid in Stranger Things. Did you call him?
Basically. I mean, they were all almost equal.
But I don't remember any of the kids' names in Stranger Things. It's been a long time since I actually watched that.
There's Benny and there's Benassi.
And like Stranger Things, we have a group of kids teaming up together to fight against extra-dimensional beings.
The supernatural.
Yes.
Just like Super 8.
Just like...
Well, Super 8 was an alien.
Just like Stranger Things.
Yeah.
But wasn't it like a
It's a monster.
Did it have telepathy in Super 8?
It had magnetism.
Oh, yeah, because that's what he makes his spaceship.
Yeah, because it sucked up the metal.
Super 8 is such
it had
a good
magnetism.
Movie. Super 8 is a really good movie.
It was creepy and eerie. Why are we talking about Super 8 when we just watched it?
Because they're kind of alike in many ways. Group of kids.
That's
this one had astronomically more swearing than Super 8, I will say.
Yeah.
Kid did.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. They didn't swear that much.
Well, it was an R-rated movie. They
I think
took a lot of liberty with the fucks.
Well, Super 8 was more like they marketed it with swearing, and I feel like
I don't remember.
I feel like they kind of abused that.
I remember them swearing, but I think also a lot has to do with that this is an R-rated movie, so they're able to just pack a lot more fucks per minute in there or whatever.
More fucks per shit.
Yes, but honestly, that kid didn't do much even then.
No.
I like all he did was just he was the humor, he was the comic relief character.
He was cracking jokes.
And
he was the your mom kid.
Yeah, he was
exactly.
Mom jokes.
Everybody knows that one kid from their childhood that was always your mom, my dick, shit.
I don't think I've ever met someone with that quick of wit. You know what I mean?
No.
But
it was almost like he prepared his lines beforehand.
Yes, it's almost as if someone had crafted these brilliant witticisms.
They pulled that effect off really well. I couldn't tell they were ad-libbing.
On the topic of effects, though, they were pretty good effects.
The effects were really impressive. I liked them a lot.
It is a shame that we are past the era of practical special effects that looked amazing. Like I for some reason I kept thinking of the movie The Thing. While watching this.
Yeah. In
like the way like characters' bodies would convulse or just gross shit would happen.
Well, like the original Thing, like the first Thing movie, this practical effects were like really cool.
Well, the Thing remake, you mean?
Yeah, the Thing remake.
But yes,
what?
Yeah, I know that's the thing because they do really good practical effects. But this is CG is the future child, and they did a good job with the CG in this. And
no, they use practical effects too. Not as often as they use CG effects, but there was the one.
They kind of use a mixture.
Spoiler alert! Specifically for this scene, There's a scene where they're looking at old pictures in one of those circular projector things.
Yeah.
And then it it gets a mind of its own and starts flipping through the images on its own, and then it shows the clown and it keeps like zooming in on its face and stuff, and then eventually the clown actually pops out of the screen.
Yeah.
And you can tell it's like they made a big puppet for it. And I thought that contributed really well. I feel like if that was CG, it would be...
And they were able to blend it really well with him actually crawling out and things like that. So
right.
They did a good job, yeah. I think the camera work is also really interesting. The way they used the really...
Oh, there was a lot of movement.
The low... What do you call it when... It's like a... I don't know if it's like the angle or like the thickness of the lens you use, but like where the character's face... like kind of like juts out towards you and the background looks kind of all warped.
Like the zooming.
Like the shot in Jaws? Or are you talking about the shot where the
I just mean there's scenes where like he would run toward it would run towards the camera.
And there was that scene in the hall where they were showing the hallway in like the well house.
Yeah.
Where it like zoomed out and like I don't know. Yeah. They did something weird with the camera where
Are you talking about the effect where at the end he's in his like circus tent stage or whatever, and then he's dancing? Are you talking about that effect, or are you talking about?
I think there's a little bit of that camera there, but just moments where he would like lunge really quickly at someone or run after someone. Specifically, I'm thinking of the scene where Richie finds the room with all the clowns, and right as he's about to jump out, it pops out and it runs after him and it lunges. The way the camera kind of warps around him, I thought was really...
That might have been a digital effect. I'd have to look at it again.
But the main thing with the dancing one is it stabilized on his face.
Yeah, the camera stabilized on its face while...
The scene was so weird.
Yeah.
It was just him dancing like a fucking jackass.
Yeah, it looked pretty funny.
The weirdest expression on his face was like... You know, he just looks totally dead. And just goofed. Honestly...
I thought
dude's a model.
I like how they kept the story. They kept the story as simple as they could get it, I think.
Yeah.
Which I appreciated.
I don't know. I felt like
although there was a couple scenes where it was just lore dump.
Yeah.
But it was still. We
gotta get the exposition out there.
It was still worth it because you're kind of learning this as the characters are. So
I actually am really glad they threw in the whole. It's come before, because they don't talk about that at all in the TV movie. It's actually one of the most interesting parts of the book when they're going back to the history, like a guy killed his whole family, then ate a poisonous mushroom and died horribly. That's one in the book. I don't think they show in the movie, but in the movie they show the Easter egg hunt where all the kids died and the black club getting burned down, which is, really shitty.
I thought the effect of the headless body running at the fat kid was pretty good.
Hokey, it felt like almost.
Well, just because he was jerking around, but it looked the lighting. That was almost definitely a CG. It might have been motion capture, but I think it was CG. Yeah. But the lighting of it was really good.
The leopard was. It made it look
like it was almost certainly mocap because there was credited in the headless kid or something. So yeah, it was probably like a mocap thing. Huh. I don't know. Yeah, I thought they did I thought the creepiest scene was the opening when you first see Pennywise, and it's genuinely unsettling. It's really and they have some balls in that scene too. Where well, because in the book he kills him by ripping his arm off, and this is just fucking.
He bites his
hand and rips him off, and you see a kid crawling away from a sewer crying with his arm off.
Yeah, and you can actually see his hand. Go down the drain after he bites it off.
Yeah, and then that gets re-gagged in several later parts of the thing. Like,
he's like waving his hand around.
Waving his arm around.
Like he's waving it around.
So freaky. I honestly thought, so in the end scene, when they're in the, we call it a cistern? Is that the proper name for it? The big open room in a sewer, would you call it a cistern?
She called it a cistern.
Yeah. When Bill, or Georgie shows up, one of the main kid's brothers, and he's got one arm, and he's acting all innocent, and you think just for a moment that it actually might be him, and then he pulls out the captive bolt pistol and shoots in the head, and I thought for a second, oh fuck, he just killed... That would have been awesome.
Do you think...
If he actually had killed his brother, and it's like this horrifying... twisted moment.
He's like, oh fuck.
Like, Pennywise just comes out of the corner, just like, That wasn't me. That was your brother.
That was actually your brother, dude.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
He just breaks character. Like he stops being creepy. Like whoa.
Damn, you're cold as fuck,
paused
man.
there for a while.
Do you think they would have had that bull pistol in there if No Country for Old Men never existed?
Yeah, I guess. I guess that movie really popularized the captive bull pistol as a tool. But I don't know. I think half the reason it's so cool in No Country for Old Men is because he blows the locks out with it.
Oh yeah.
It's versatile. It's a
It's not just for killing.
Is it the? It's like portable versatile. Shit, no, it's something that rhymes with versatile.
Submersible.
The submersible versatile countertop magician. The magic bullet. Have you ever seen there's like a 20-minute long magic bullet infomercial?
I've watched
where it's
that
this
so many times.
this couple, you know what I'm talking about? Where it's this couple and these other couples in their kitchen, and it's just them demoing different things with a magic bullet. Like making
wow,
different
that's
stuff.
really good.
Like all these sauces.
You can make cheese dip.
You can make smoothie and pesto dip, and you can even, do all these crazy fun stuff with your magic bullet.
They never show how complicated it is to clean those things.
Is it really complicated?
I don't think so, actually.
Gee, I don't know.
I think they show it. I think they show them like disassembling it and putting it in the dishwasher.
Yeah, like hyper speed. Look, it's so easy to.
And it just shows, like, I don't know. I think it might have just shown an animation of it all just like coming apart, just like.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know. I really want to watch that again. Just to see how stupid it is.
You want to watch that or it again?
Or this. I just recently.
Or this. What? Or there.
Or you're next.
It's just me, myself, and
I'm just trying to think of movies that are just pronouns. Other titles.
Yeah. I think
Them, the movie with the giant ants.
Oh.
You ever seen that? The really old one that has a super good opening?
What if they remade that movie?
That'd be awesome.
Dude, they should
watch that in 2
They
seconds.
should make a serious movie about giant ants.
Yeah.
That's great. They could make it genuinely like.
That's I mean, the ending of the movie is basically the ending of Aliens. Because they go and they find the ant hive. There's the queen, and then they burn all of her eggs and burn them. And
don't they do that in the 2000 Godzilla movie too? They see little dinosaur eggs.
I don't remember.
The one with Matthew
Godzilla Broderick? Didn't they retcon it where that Godzilla wasn't the real Godzilla?
No,
it was Chino or something.
I think it was Godzilla Final Wars that the Japanese Godzilla actually fights him,
and
Godzilla.
And he grabs him and he flips him out of the Sydney Opera House, and then he hits
get
him
out
of
here, fake Godzilla.
Dude, I haven't seen Godzilla 2000, I don't think. I just remember people saying it's really bad.
I've seen the first half and I turned it off.
Is Godzilla Final Wars the one where there's a bunch of like kung fu scenes in it too?
Yeah.
Yep. These crazy anime
and there's like motorcycles and shit.
That sounds epic.
I'd watch that. Why didn't it turn to Godzilla once in this movie?
What the fuck?
What do you think? What do you think was the creepiest thing he turned into?
The lady.
Because I was gonna say the leper. The leper was really freaky looking.
I'll have to think about it.
I think the lady was the creepiest. The leper.
The lady was a pretty creepy design.
Yeah.
Because it just felt so unnatural.
Yeah.
In the real world.
It was like
but she was also the most obvious that it was an effect. It was CG. So.
Yeah, that was. But like, I don't know. I think.
I thought the fact that he turned into that girl's dad.
Was
all those
creepy.
scenes were just. They pissed me off.
What, you don't like?
No, I liked the scenes. I don't like what was happening in the scene.
Yeah, it's pretty scummy.
Because you can tell she was,
Yeah.
You can.
You're my girl.
She was a good actress. John really likes that actress.
Don't, please.
How old is she?
How old is she, John?
Oh.
In the car on the way back from the theater. So watching this movie, I was convinced that actress had to be at least 18. She looked older. She didn't look the same age as them.
I know.
So
I mean, that's usually how it goes. Those kids are way older than the characters they portray.
I felt safe saying she was hot as fuck, and then.
That's exact words.
And then I looked up her age, and she's fucking 15 years old.
And then
I feel like a fucking creep.
And John's world collapsed when he can't have QT 3.14 redheaded girl. It's a shame.
You know why?
New Kids on the Block with her. And
they gave her really sexy makeup. Okay, it's not my fault. They showed her in her underwear, man. What am I supposed to think?
They showed them all in their underwear, John.
Yeah, but I'm not attracted to guys.
I don't know, dude.
So I don't care.
I was getting a little stiff when I saw that fat kid.
He had big tits.
Dude, his tits were so distracting.
So thick.
He had any nipples. They were inverted.
I wish I had those.
I wish they
You could store little
Tic Tacs.
Tic Tacs and pennies and
pocket
change.
I know they almost certainly didn't have enough time, but I wish they would have done more with Henry Bowers and his gang, because they are straight sadistic motherfuckers in the books.
Dude, they went
crazy with Henry Bowers.
They went farther than they needed to. He carved a fucking H into the body.
Yeah.
I don't know if he does that in the book, but he definitely kills his dad in the book.
And then he gets, after their first encounter in the well house. Is that what it's called?
Yeah. Well house.
After their first experience in the well house, one of the kids breaks his arm, and then his mom is freaking out about him getting hurt and taking him to the hospital. Did she not see the huge fucking claw marks in the fat kid? He was literally he was gored open. I'm surprised he was standing. It's like, what the fuck, bitch? Just take him to the hospital too.
No, but maybe she wouldn't be able to see it because that's the whole thing.
Oh, you think it was like the blood where the dad couldn't see it?
Yeah, except that was a pretty clear wound.
But I mean, wouldn't that be the same with his broken arm?
Yeah, I guess they're just dumb.
Mom was
stupid. Well, I mean, she was Munchausen's mom, so I mean, it's not that crazy.
It pissed me off when she's like, she goes up to the girl. There was a bunch of rumors that she was a slut and shit, and
banged a bajillion kiddos.
And then the mom has the audacity to go up to the girl and be like, you're a slut, and then drive off. I mean, she said use more words.
It was the 80s. It was a different time.
It was like, what the fuck?
She was born in 2002.
Who are you? Who are you to have knowledge?
She was born in the 2000s.
Who are you to have knowledge of the sex lives of children? That's just fucked up.
Yeah, no, that is.
I thought it was actually kind of funny though, like a slight gag where the one girl writes loser on the kid's cast. And he's making a V instead of the S.
Yeah, she was a bitch too.
Yeah, she was.
All the women are bitches in this.
Didn't they dump the garbage bag with all the water in it on that girl? Yeah. God, it was a bum. No, but Henry Bowers' gang in the book is like the guy Patrick Hockstetter is straight sadistic. He killed his brother because his brother was annoying him, and he was like in a mental institution for a while. And then he tortures animals in his spare time. There's a scene where he offers to give a blowjob to Henry Bowers, and Henry Bowers beats him up, and he gets killed by flying
who offers the blowjob to who? Aren't you talking about Henry Bowers?
Patrick Hockstetter offers the blowjob to Henry Bowers.
Okay.
He's a really fucked up character.
Oh, there's a scene in...
I thought they could have gone way crazier with it.
There's a scene in It where the bully kills his dad, and that made me really uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't think a knife would be able to, even a spring-loaded knife would be able to go through his neck. But
if it's a really sharp knife.
Yeah.
They would just slide in there like butter.
I think the half of the creepiness was the shit on the TV, though. That was really creepy. And also because there was build-up to it, because in earlier scenes, characters were watching that same program on TV.
They would talk about floating in sewers.
And kids in sewers.
It's fun to play in the sewers.
It's fun to play in the sewers, yeah. I love going to the sewers and killing clowns. I don't know. I thought it was really crazy how he set up his whole, like, a circus in the sewer with all the mangled up shit there.
Did he have popcorn?
I hope he... Popcorn! Or what was the next one? Yeah. He's like... Pop, pop, pop! God. Oh, that first scene with Georgie is so fucking creepy.
The only thing I was surprised about in that scene was that they actually showed a kid getting his arm ripped off.
Yeah, that was...
It was like a little kid, and he's like screaming.
Super fucking weird, like Goblin Sharky almost, where it comes out like that. Yeah.
Yeah, the little pointy teeth in the mouth is creepy too.
Oh yeah.
Like I was telling John this, but like towards the end where it like flips open, it reminded me of a Langolier.
Another Stephen King.
Stephen King story.
It's a short story, or is it a short story, or is it a whole book? I'm pretty sure it's a whole book actually, but it's about these people. They're on a plane, and then suddenly everybody but a select few of the people disappear on the plane.
Just like that.
Their clothes and all their objects are still there.
Yeah. Oh, like War of the Worlds.
Like the dildo.
You know when they get zapped in War of the Worlds and their clothes just are the only thing.
Yeah, kind of like that. But then, well, let's just Let's just spoil the Langoliers too.
It's not a good movie.
It's not a good movie. It's an okay book.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a short story, but
okay, but yeah.
So they eventually figure out how to land the plane, and they discover that nobody is around at all. Nobody. And then basically there's some drama that happens, and then these spheres with giant mouths on them start eating reality. And the idea is that these are the things. So every moment in reality exists in its own dimension until it gets eaten by these things.
Okay.
Because they can't sit there forever because they'll take up energy in the universe or something.
Oh, all right.
And so the idea is that in life, we're just like traveling through dimensions constantly.
Oh, okay.
And each one of these dimensions is empty after we move on from it and gets eaten.
Wait,
so and the Langoliers look like they had these big mouths and stuff.
Yeah.
So
and
that's what
hits
got, like, a
something.
bunch
It
of teeth in
it's
them.
like a void. It just eliminates it.
Yeah.
Wait, so then how do all those people just disappear like in a blink of an eye?
I don't know.
Portal.
I think it's they were traveling and I don't know why it was those specific people, but they like went through a portal into that an empty dimension.
Yeah.
Pretty
It was
much.
like the future when they got out of the plane, but inside the plane it was still like they're saying.
Sounds like.
But it's a happy ending. They get back on the plane, get out in the nick of time, and they end up in reality. And there's a cool scene. I remember reading it in the book. I didn't watch the whole movie, but where they're just standing in an airport and they start to see like ghosts.
Yeah.
It looks like ghosts, and
Yeah.
they realize it's a bunch of people, but they're moving really fast, and then suddenly they slow down. It's like they're snapping back into reality.
Whenever
it's
I
pretty
see
cool.
something where, because I remember the movie Cabin in the Woods, they did the same thing where they had a character whose like face was like a hole with a bunch of teeth like lining it. You know.
Yeah.
I always think of the movie Teeth, where the girl has
Oh.
the teeth in her vagina.
Yeah.
Is that a good movie?
Have
you seen it?
It's been a long time.
Cabin in the Woods?
Cabin in the Woods
was
movie.
good.
Cabin in the Woods is a great movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a movie you definitely don't want to know.
We're not gonna talk
Anyway,
about
yeah,
that.
we're not gonna talk.
If you haven't watched it,
But teeth.
if you haven't watched it,
girl
just go
has
watch
teeth
it.
in her vagina, and it's
stop
adorably.
listening to this. Watch Cabin in the Woods.
Even
Come
if you
back.
don't appreciate it, you'll have fun watching it.
John, if we had to tell our guests
Really fun movie.
to watch one movie right now, they drop the podcast and watch one movie right now. What do they have to?
I don't know.
The movie that will
really
change
don't
their
know.
lives.
Right now, well, no. I'd say watch Eraserhead
Mulholland Drive.
or Mulholland Drive,
Or-
just really any
Or
David
heavy
Lynch
metal,
movie.
or Enter the Void.
I wouldn't say any David Lynch movie.
The reason
Enter
I'd
the
say
Void will make you very sad. No, I'll say that.
I'd just say watch it. I'd tell them to watch a David Lynch movie because
You like
I'd
David
assume
Lynch.
the type of movies they watch have just been like mainstream movies if it's the average person. So watching a David Lynch movie, it's accessible in a way, and it's intriguing, and you want to watch it and figure out what's going on, and it's alternative, so it'll get you into like other types of alternative movies.
I have to go with Jake on this one though. I think if you're gonna drop someone into David Lynch, Mulholland Drive is probably the best way to do it.
Because it's
Or
still
Twin Peaks.
really complex,
Really?
but it's like
But-
it's
but if-
served
I mean,
in a
if we're
way
sticking to
that's
movies,
really
then yeah.
palatable.
Yeah.
Because Eraserhead is a bit much for a
No, it's very
starter
jarring.
package. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
you're right.
Mulholland Drive, like, the thing is even I, who have seen like a lot of the crazy stuff that David Lynch has done, especially in The Return for Twin Peaks, Mulholland Drive still is really unsettling.
Yeah.
And still really can.
The weirdest
tug at ya.
thing is that for me, Mulholland Drive was harder to get a grasp of than Eraserhead. Like Mulholland Drive, like I still have trouble understanding a lot of stuff in that, but for some
Yeah,
reason
because-
Eraserhead just seemed
Isn't
to
it
make
because
more sense to
Eraserhead
me.
focuses mostly on like the visual of it, like seeing all the crazy or in sound versus like narrative and plot? Because what I
Well,
remember
it's-
Eraserhead is the plot.
There's-
There isn't much of a plot.
The
There's
plot
a
is
plot.
pretty simple. It's
Yeah.
pretty
it's a
simple.
Well, Mulholland Drive is all over the place.
Yeah.
But Eraserhead
probably
is
the thing.
Eraserhead is all about just sitting with it with this character, and the movie's so slow and dark because that's how that character feels about the world around him. And yeah, it's more about just sitting with an image and with a mood and absorbing it. Mulholland Drive is more about it's pretty much a puzzle, like figuring out.
And the thing of Mulholland Drive also like really just strings you along a lot.
Yeah,
and
it's-
it plays with your expectations.
But yeah, watch Mulholland Drive.
I'd recommend actually watch Lost Highway first because it's
I still need to watch that.
The narrative style is pretty much the same as Mulholland Drive, except it's not as complicated. If you think about it for like a day or so, you'll probably get the gist of what happened in it.
Yeah, I know Mulholland Drive. I'm like, I still.
And if you don't
really
feel like watching
understand
David
everything.
Lynch, watch Heavy Metal and watch a bunch of violence and boobs and a bunch of. Have you ever seen the South Park parody of Heavy Metal?
Yeah.
Where the kids.
It's like Boob Land.
Where they're doing. Where they're cheesing.
Yeah, they're sniffing
Which
cat
they're
urine.
sniffing cat piss, and the reason they call it cheesing is because it's fun to do.
Oh, yeah.
That was the stupidest little thing they could have done. And yeah, that was really cool when South Park did that, and it just reminds me of the what's the episode where they get the ninja weapons?
Oh man!
And it like goes to an anime thing for like a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's go, Kinkatsu! Protect my balls!
Let's fight Teen Love.
Yes,
Let's fight Teen Love.
That episode freaked me out as a kid because Butters got
Butter gets
a fucking ninja star in his eye.
and it's in his eye for like the rest of the episode.
It's in his fucking eye. I'm like, at the end of the episode, they just take him to the hospital. I'm like, no, he lost that eye.
They take him to a vet.
Oh no!
They dress him up as a dog and they take him to a vet.
The kids take him to a vet, but he's later with his parents. He has a bandage on his eye.
Yeah, eventually.
I get really
He's just going
uneasy
woof woof on the road and shit.
when people do things to eyes. I think human eyes are such precious things. You know, they're so complex that
really fragile.
The damaging to them is just That's half the reason it was so freaky. I think the strong suit with Bill Skarsgård's Pennywise was his eyes. His eyes were really freaky and felt almost cross-eyed at a lot of parts, or they were like looking.
Well, yeah, they had parts where like
it was really, really, really unsettling.
I like how they made the threat credible because they had him directly, harm them.
Oh yeah.
And they actually showed harm on the kids. I felt that legitimized the threat.
Oh yeah.
Because it's not just it's scary. It's like it's dangerous. Like
yeah,
that's true. And they don't do that in the TV movie. They just kind of scared the kids.
Yep, because they couldn't at that point. They couldn't really show
they couldn't
gore on children.
Kids. That'd be really screwed up.
Yeah, but now
you can just bite kids' arms off and.
Well, now that
I wonder what the ballsiest movie has with kids, which just shows kids getting horribly murdered.
Like a popular movie, or
I'm not suggesting that you watch
a Serbian film.
I was just gonna say that.
What happens in Serbian film?
Okay, we're gonna spoil a Serbian film. I really don't actually recommend watching a Serbian film.
Please don't watch it.
Unless you really want, the most. It's just an uncomfortable, dark.
If you want to make yourself sad and like feel very gross,
feel like you need to take a shower, watch a Serbian
film. Is that the movie where he kills the dude by shoving his dick into the dude's eye socket?
He skull fucks him to death, and then they give him some drug to make him super horny, and he ends up raping his own son, his own little kid. But he doesn't know it at first, but once his face is revealed, he keeps going. So
that's okay. Then there's no redemption.
Yeah,
their world is destroyed.
But the whole idea of the movie is that this is the most depraved fucking guy. He's like a grizzled war veteran that doesn't give a shit. I don't know if he's actually a war veteran, but that's the vibe I get. He just doesn't give a shit about anything.
Scumbag. Yeah,
I think he's like a porn star, isn't he?
Yeah.
Or like a former porn star, maybe. I don't know.
No, in the movie he's a porn star. I don't know if the actor's a porn star.
Wait, so is him fucking his kid a part of a porn video?
Yeah, it's filmed, I think, in the movie. Right?
Why?
Well, he like.
Why would you do that?
One of them was his kid, and the other one was his wife, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, the way they call that movie a Serbian film, are they trying to just turn people off from ever having anything to do with Serbia?
I think it's just because it was made in Serbia.
So they just couldn't think of a better name?
I don't know.
They probably were like, well, we don't call this little boy rape, so
you'll give away the ending.
Can you even imagine if someone tried to
make a movie called Little Boy Rape?
Martin Scorsese has this great movie coming out. We got Leo in the starring role. We got Denzel. We got a ton of great actors, and it's called Little Boy Rape.
Little Boy Rape with an exclamation
mark.
People would
say
see
that?
It. People would see it just because of the title.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
because they'd be like, no way. They're not. It has to be a gross out title. We're not gonna actually. And then it has the whole movie is just little boy rape.
Yeah. I mean, at what point does
it's CG? It's CG, but
I mean,
not realistic.
Oh God, At what point does the MPAA step in? Like, has the MPAA...
At the title.
No, but do they go crazy over titles? Like, obviously you can't, like, fuck or
What's
shit
the worst
They'll go crazy over any
heard?
element of your movie.
What's the worst title to any movie?
Yeah, that's actually been released in theaters that you've heard.
Probably some, like, horrible, like, probably ABCs of Death. That movie's...
You mean horrible as in it's a bad name, or horrible as it's like, messed
like,
up?
Like, graphic title.
Most title gore? I don't know.
150 Days of Sodom? Maybe?
That's a book.
Isn't that what the movie's called, too?
I didn't know there was a movie.
You didn't know that?
No, the book is screwed up enough. Why would you want to make a movie?
The movie's fucking notorious.
Oh. I thought the book was the notorious thing.
They're both notorious.
So yeah, a little boy
the
rape
book
probably
is
went
the only reason the book is super excessive and graphic is because the book is like a satire.
Dude,
as well,
if we're talking about
government and things like that.
If we're talking about fucked up stories, there's this one book that I've never been able to find again that somebody talked about and linked to, like an Amazon page.
It's number 23.
No, on 4chan. They actually sent. I saw a real link to this book, so it's real. Okay, you're gonna not believe me when I tell you that it's.
You gotta say it. You gotta get it out there.
So it's about a blind guy trapped in a place he has no idea what's going on, and he hears a baby crying constantly.
Uh-huh.
And the whole book takes place inside of his head, and apparently, eventually, he rapes the baby.
Okay, that sounds like Johnny Got His Gun.
What's that?
Johnny Got His Gun is a story by Dalton Trumbo, where this guy gets like horribly maimed in a war. To the point where he can't see or hear anything. He's basically trapped inside his own body, and then he tries to kill himself, and then they stop it and basically prevent him from being able to harm himself ever again. So he's just entombed inside this body, and they have him paraded around the country.
What the fuck?
As like anti-war propaganda.
Huh.
So
yeah, it definitely wasn't that.
Okay, because that's just the way you described it was almost like someone entombed in.
It doesn't sound like that dude rapes a baby. So.
The way he does it is he's just trapped there for like fucking forever, and he has nothing to do. There's nothing in this room to entertain him at all. Just this baby that is in the room with him.
That's creepy.
Whose baby is it?
Any story involving like infinite punishment or like just imprisoning someone for like a crazy amount of time always just really unsettles me.
Yeah.
Like White Christmas, the Black Mirror episode.
Okay.
The ending.
Okay.
Really...
Yeah, be careful. Spoilers for Black Mirror. The twist is very important in it. The twist for White Christmas is very important. If you do not want to be spoiled, don't listen. Okay. Wait, have you seen White Christmas?
I just won't say.
Jake hasn't seen it.
I just won't say it. Okay.
Never mind. We're not spoiling it. You can listen. It's cool.
I will talk about.
I saved you
have
guys.
no mouth and
You're
I will
welcome.
scream. Where the ending is that the big bad computer, the guy. There's only 5 humans left on Earth, and then the guy at the end of the story, the guy kills them all. But just before he's about to kill himself, the big bad computer stops him and turns him into like a blob of flesh that can't harm himself again. And then he keeps him, and then he fucks with his time perception, so he perceives it as going on forever.
Yeah.
And it ends with "I have no mouth and I must scream."
Huh.
I was gonna say, speaking of computers, like, the only dream I've had that's actually scared me within the past few years is about like a widespread virus that takes over everything, and then like everyone fucking
Controls all the computers.
Yeah,
Skynet?
controls all the computers,
Skynet.
and
It's
it's
fire.
controlled by like some regime or some shit.
You actually had a dream about that?
Yes. Holy shit! I woke up fucking sweaty. So,
Wow.
so what happened was, like, there was this virus, and it automatically downloaded on everyone's computers. There was like an icon for it or whatever. Like, I looked on my phone, and there was like an app for it, and it was like really weird. And I was like, huh, that looks kind of sketchy. I don't really want to click on it. So I just left it alone. But it turns out that it was controlling everything, and people were able to survey things. Somehow people were like, they were able to control like water flow. So there was this one image in my dream, and it was a kid in a bathtub, and he just like fucking drowns.
Oh God. Okay.
How?
I don't know.
Why doesn't he just get out?
It doesn't make. He could have gotten out, but it was it was a dream, so it didn't make sense.
Okay.
But he was just sitting in a bathtub, and like, I don't know if it doesn't make sense that a computer virus could do it, but he just drowns in his bathtub, and it shows him
computer virus is
lifeless.
so advanced that it permeates reality itself.
After I woke up, I tried to justify it.
Isn't that the plot of Code Lyoko? Where the virus is so powerful that it starts doing all
that's another thing with huge foreheads. Code Lyoko.
But,
I'm pretty sure their foreheads were bigger than Pennywise's.
They were
at
massive.
one point, I had another phone that somehow did not have a virus, and I was talking to Ethan Klein on it.
What were you talking about?
He was like, "Hey man, this virus is really bad. We got to do something about it." I was like, "Yeah, sure, we got to do that." And then after that, I walked into my bathroom, and then all of it was deconstructed, and then there was I turned around, and there was cement on the wall, and then it closed. And
oh shit!
So I was stuck in my bathroom, and then that's when I woke up, kind of
And
terrifying.
then it was revealed at the end, Keemstar was behind the virus and infected everyone, and that's what Ethan was leading the resistance against Keemstar.
No, at first, it was some app, it disguised itself as some app promoting a rap artist.
Chance the Rapper. It's his master plan. Yeah. Start out on SoundCloud, now take over the whole internet.
It was more like Kanye than Chance. Because
probably.
It was darker. It was
No, here's what happened. Kanye set up a meeting with Chance to discuss, a collab. But what really happened was he drugged him, and he uploaded his consciousness into Kanye's blank AI program. And the fact that Chance's marketing skills, he's such a genius at marketing that he knows how to infiltrate any computer system on Earth.
Damn.
So he's the perfect
by
virus.
Marketing himself.
Have you guys had a dream that's actually scared you recently?
I have,
but I can't remember it.
I had a dream where it.
You had a dream about it?
It was a two-pronged dream, but it's one of my biggest fears, which is a nuclear war and an apocalypse sort of thing. I always just get freaked out because, I don't know, nuclear war always freaks me out because it feels like when it's gonna happen full force, and it's gonna end everything, and we're just gonna close it. And it's gonna be oblivion. So that's why it always freaks me out. It's the fear of oblivion, and it was a two-part dream. The first part of the dream is I was sitting in in big cities when they have those really shitty subways that are just crammed into a little a street part of a street, and they're tiny and they're efficiency sized and a bunch of people in there. So I was in something like that, but it wasn't a subway, it was more like a cafe, and I was sitting on looking outside the window, and my phone was going all crazy and this weird static sound, and then I remember I had this compulsion to walk outside, and there was no one out there, no cars or anything, and I look, and the sky was this writhing orange light, kind of, this weird pulsating strange glow. It wasn't nuclear at all, there's no mushroom clouds or anything, this weird orange light. And then the next thing I knew is it was I was in some house that it was dilapidated, and I had supplies and stuff, and I kind of pieced it together, and it turned out that the world, that someone launched nukes, but they hit 3 random places across the earth, and I don't know, it was just feeling the impact of all these nuclear explosions. I don't know, it was really weird.
One time
I couldn't figure it out. One time
I had a dream about my dog running away.
Yeah.
And fucking chasing him through the neighborhood and shit. I was running for 10 minutes straight.
Yeah.
And I never caught him. And then a week later, so we were at my cousin's house, and they live, it doesn't even matter, but we brought our dog, and they have this fence in their backyard. They had a big dog. Mm-hmm. So there were gaps under this fence, but the dog was way too big, and it didn't dig, so it never got out. But my dog is a beagle, so he's smaller. He was able to slip through those gaps. And so, I just remember, this was back fucking, I don't know, a lot of years ago. Probably 7 years ago. But anyway, I had this compulsion to go outside. I didn't know why. And I went outside, and I look, and my dog's right there, outside of the fence, from the backyard. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm like, Obi, come here. And he started bolting. And I just ran
after him.
And just like the dream, I ran for 10 minutes, but I was behind him the whole time. I was running through fucking backyards. I ran through a ditch and got mud and water all in my shoes, but I kept running. And man, that dog can run. But I finally caught him because he started sniffing some doghouse or something, or like a leash, or I don't know. It was yeah. But then I caught him and I'm like, what the fuck? This is just like the dream. I actually haven't thought about that in a long time.
I was
just
really
like
exhausted. The dream?
Yeah.
Wait. I thought you were describing a dream.
No. The dream happened where I was chasing my dog, and then a week later I actually chased my dog.
Oh, jeez.
And I don't know if I saw the same places in my dream or not, but like I felt like it was the same place. But then once I caught him, I was like, I almost believed I was in a dream then.
Yeah.
Because I caught him and I'm like, oh my god, I have no idea where I am.
The most terrifying thing about...
And I was able to find my way back somehow. It was crazy.
Yeah. But the most terrifying thing about the dream that I had is I remember in my dream I was thinking, this must be a dream. But I was like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
So like... That's what terrified me the most.
Dreaming is such a weird phenomenon to me, where people like, it's a training yourself to be like aware that you're dreaming and then be able to do whatever you want in your dreams.
Well, yeah, that's the weirdest thing is I ask myself
every time
I dreaming.
become aware that I'm dreaming, it's either right before the instant before I wake up, or it's after I've woken up.
Well, one time I was having a dream and I looked up a lot of stuff about lucid dreaming and how to like train yourself to be conscious in your dream. So I've been doing like a dream journal. I've tried to do it every night, but sometimes I just don't do it. But you just write down what happens in your dreams, and then by looking over those, you can kind of see common themes sometimes. And then when you see those common themes in the dream, you'll become aware. Oh. But anyway, I remember...
I've heard it's like you need like an Inception style like totem, like an object that has a particular property to it, and then you can kind of... And then if you see that object in your dream like repeated or something like that, like a fidget spinner. If you see that object repeated in your dreams, you know you're dreaming, and it becomes like a constant theme. Something similar.
Yeah, when I realize it's a dream, it's just like you. Like I'll usually wake up almost right after that, but like I'll think to myself, "Oh my God, this is a dream," and then I'm like, "Wait, I could do anything I want now." But then I'm like, I kind of half believe it or something that it's really a dream, and then it starts to become a nightmare, and then I want to wake up.
Like that's the thing is I questioned if it was a dream, but I was like, no, it's not a dream, and it was
just when you're in doubt, you should just always assume it's a dream, and then try dream logic, and if it doesn't work, it's real life.
But I can't think that clearly while I'm dreaming.
What would you guys say? Like, I mean, are you aware of enough of or have memories of enough of your old dreams where you can kind of piece together a theme? Because my dreams always take place in the future, but they always seem to take place in the future, but it's always a really dystopian thing or it's a really utopian thing. But the utopia is really abstract and surreal.
I think most of mine are in the future too.
Mine are...
But like the close future.
Mine are usually in the present day. The last one was probably more in the future, but I don't think in my dream it was supposed to be the future. Anyway, I don't know. The main thing that I notice about my dreams is like spatial reasoning is really fucked up.
Was that the way you would know? Or like time too?
Yeah. Well, not even as much as time, but like just spatial reasoning. Because like time, thinking about it, time flows at a constant rate in my dreams. But compared to spatial stuff, it's really weird because like I remember having a dream,
misjudged distance and things like that. You mean?
But like, and also just like morphine of like the environment. Because I remember I was like walking down a street in one of my dreams, and then I turned to left, and then it was like some Victorian era like magic shop. And then I went down the stairs, and then when I went down the stairs, it was like a Black Panther meeting.
What?
Yeah.
A Black Panther meeting in the basement of...
Was it real Black Panthers? Like the cat?
No, like the
dude with the berets.
Yeah.
Oh.
But so it's just a bunch of stuff like that. And then the dream that I was talking about earlier, like I was in a huge mansion, and then like I walked up these stairs, and then I was in my apartment.
Nice.
I was in my room.
Huh.
You ever, when you try to run in a dream, does it always, like, the classic, legs feel like they're made out of jelly and they're super heavy and shit.
I don't.
You can't move.
I get
fast.
the super heavy one. Yeah.
No, sometimes I get the super heavy one, but most of the time I just get, I'm not moving fast. So it feels like my legs are going, but I'm barely moving.
I either get that or I'm moving too fast, and when I jump super high. And
Oh yeah, I've had that too. One time I jumped super high, and then I landed, and I felt like I twisted my ankle.
Exactly, yeah. I had the same
shit, ow.
Usually when I dream, I don't really walk or anything. Usually, I mean, I'm in motion sometimes, but like a lot of it's like the environment moving around me instead of me moving through my environment.
But I don't know. I think maybe I should take a dream journal too, just to
Just
see how weird it is.
It's weird reading it back, because when you wake up in the morning, you're like, oh my god, I gotta write it down before I forget, and then you write it down, and then you're done writing it down, and you're like, fuck, what the fuck?
What is this gibberish?
Yeah. I swear to God, one time, in elementary school, I dreamt, I woke up, walked out of my room, and it was morning, my dad was making breakfast, and I look over to my left at the TV, and Tom and Jerry is on. And then I actually woke up. I walked out. My dad was making breakfast. I looked over to the left. It was the exact same moment in the exact same Tom and Jerry episode that I saw in my dream. I swear to God. That's probably the craziest dream experience I've ever had. I told the future somehow.
I've never had something like that.
Really? In elementary school, I used to have it all the time, but not as direct as that. It would be like I would get deja vu, and I'd become convinced that I dreamed it like 3 weeks ago. The same exact moment. I still get it sometimes, but not nearly as often as in elementary school.
Like, there's been points in time where I'm like...
It's not like a deja vu, it's like, I've seen this before. It's like, I know I've seen it in a dream, and that was a few weeks ago.
Yeah, there's been things like that where, like, something happened and I was like... I felt like this happened, but I think it was in a dream.
Mm.
And it's just, I don't know.
I think it's probably just our brains misfiring and thinking...
Probably.
Maybe like a little dream
but
chemical leaks out.
It's really mundane stuff. Someone just saying a phrase.
Behind deja vu is like your brain says, oh, okay. Like you in your regular everyday life, you see an innocuous event and you think progression A to B to C.
Yeah.
But then in your daily life, you see A and then you see B and you expect C to happen, and your brain just kind of starts putting it together, but it's not quite there or something like that. I don't know. I can't explain it. I'm not a neurologist.
I thought I read a theory or something that said deja vu is when your subconscious brain registers something before your conscious brain usually does.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's like, it makes you feel like, because it's coming from your subconscious, that you've seen it before.
That would make sense that it's like mundane
then what's the point
things.
of dreams? Are we just going to take the Major Briggs definition of why? No, but just why do dreams
You mean
happen?
the Cooper definition?
No, Major Briggs, where he distinguishes a vision and dreams.
Oh.
Where he says that dreams are a way of cataloging the day's events.
No, I believe that. I totally
I will
believe
say,
that.
though, I do distinctly remember the whole nuclear apocalypse thing happening, like the day before, like, North Korea launched a missile over Japan, and that was like a big escalation of things they did, or maybe it was after they tested their hydrogen bomb. I don't know, but North Korea did crazy shit, and they were in the news a lot. That's probably why I dreamt it. So maybe that has something to do with it. Maybe it is a sort of cataloging.
Yeah, I think it's just...
That's the thing. I don't know what the...
I really just think it's your brain replaying the day's events and just what they meant to you, and...
How would it be so weird, though?
Because it's not reality. It's your brain's own interpretation of the thoughts you're having.
It's a mishmash of the day's events and then your own, like, personality.
Yeah, I think...
Maybe?
I'm really just extrapolating and, guessing. But I think it's just... Dreams are mostly how you reacted emotionally to whatever happened that day.
That makes sense.
Or whatever happened within 3 days ago or something. Recent events that happened to you. And
the strongest memories are the most emotional ones. So.
But I know I've had super intense nightmares before, but it's not like I had a bunch of trauma the day before or something.
Yeah,
so
no, that's the thing.
It's hard to say.
Have you done a good movie or something related to dreams? Like, has there ever been something that just nails it? Well,
Inception doesn't quite nail it, but it's a good movie.
I mean, like, just take I'm thinking of something more like in the horror genre, something creepy with dreams, you know?
David Lynch does a lot of dream influence.
In Twin Peaks, a lot. And, well, and other stuff
In
too,
everything.
but I think Twin Peaks, they really hammer out
Twin Peaks,
the importance of dreams, or why...
The characters talk about dreams all the time.
Dreams and nightmares and stuff.
But, I don't know. A movie that's represented a dream, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'd just go back to David Lynch, because there's been...
Eraserhead.
He doesn't explicitly...
He does it a lot, yeah.
He doesn't explain anything, but...
I think Eraserhead
like-
did it well.
You feel like it can be extrapolated that a certain scene could represent a character's dream.
Yeah.
Especially in Mulholland Drive.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
And I feel like that's... The way he presents it is accurate, because specific things happen, but they're not necessarily related to each other, and people don't necessarily react how you would expect them to, these things. That's very dreamlike to me. That makes sense. I can't explain really why it makes sense, but it feels like it does when I watch it.
Yeah.
But I don't know of anything else that
I just,
dreams.
like, that's the thing, like, because dreams are such a subjective thing, but it seems like some people have a similar way of thinking when they say, oh, my spatial reasoning is fucked up, or time feels really fucked up. I've never seen something that captures that essence of it. I mean, the closest thing I can think of is maybe Inception, where the layout of everything is designed like a maze, so things kind of repeat, or things don't seem to fit together right. But yeah, that's the only thing I can think of that really touches upon dreams. I just think it's an interesting concept that people could take and do something with.
Yeah, I think the fact that dreams are hard to describe and explain why they made you feel a certain way is because...
And they're not replicable.
Yeah, I think it's just because the visuals are just... I feel like you come up... Nah, I was going to say you come up with the visuals later, but that's not quite
No
true.
matter how
See, I can't even
realistic
explain.
you make your dreams feel, someone's going to say, oh, that's not what dreaming is like.
Yeah, because everybody experiences it differently.
Yeah.
So it's just never...
And I feel like more dreams are more about how they make you feel.
Yeah.
And that the visuals you see are your reactions to the impulses in your brain.
Because it's your own brain.
See, once you get into explaining dreams, it just gets so up in the
Abstract.
air and nebulous.
Yeah.
Because you're
That's
not
kinda how
sure
it
what
goes.
you're saying is the same as, another person
Well, then we
experiences
need a
it.
movie to describe something simpler, like Deja Vu. We could just watch Deja Vu with Denzel Washington.
Yeah.
Isn't that the movie? It's like they can see into the past or something. And that allows them to predict things in the future.
I don't know.
And there's a scene where he's like driving. The only scene I remember was like I remember watching like just one scene from that movie on TV where he's driving down a road, but he's got these like goggles on or some glasses, something he wears that lets him see into the past while he's driving.
That's
so
dangerous.
He's trying to like follow a car in the past while he's driving in the present.
It's dangerous.
Yeah, it's like that's crazy dangerous. Like, why would you even try doing that?
You gotta.
And then there's Denzel Washington's a good actor.
He is.
He's really good. You ever see Manchurian Candidate?
Yeah.
That movie is really fucking creepy.
I like it.
He's good.
Toward the end, it got kind of hokey.
How so?
Fucking spoiler for Manchurian Candidate. They try to assassinate the president and
Why do you
vice
think it was
president.
hokey though that he tries to?
I don't. Well, it kind of the pace of the movie and how it presents it makes sense, the order of events. But there's something about it that's just like, I don't know. The story got a little too big, I think, for what the movie was. I feel like they could have just focused on the one character and is he crazy? Is something really happening?
Yeah.
And then maybe he.
Instead of making this whole like conspiracy thing going on, yeah.
'Cause
I
in
see
the-
what you mean.
I don't. Yeah, I feel like the beginning of the movie kind of. It doesn't support what happens
If you
in
want
the
to watch a
second
good
half.
movie where you're questioning the sanity of your protagonist,
Hmm.
they look like people.
Haven't seen that one yet.
Oh, movie's really good.
Do they look like people?
They do indeed look like people.
Oh.
Yeah.
I heard
That's
about
convenient for making the film because
Yeah.
then you can just use people.
Let's see. God. That night I watched 3 horror movies, and there were 2 really good ones and 1 really terrible one.
Dude, I barely ever get scared by horror movies anymore.
I know.
Mm.
Ever since I watched Baskin, like, nothing really phases me. That movie was
I
so
mean,
fucking creepy.
We were watching the movie Audition where this Asian chick is torturing this guy, and like it goes through graphic detail of how she does it. She uses acupuncture and puts it in his chest and his belly and his eyes, and then starts sawing his feet off with a piano wire. And I had to turn the movie off at that point because I was stoned out of my mind and I was getting physically ill. Like I went in the bathroom and tried to throw up. I didn't throw up, but I was close.
Yeah,
I've never had a movie make me want to do that, but I feel like that was mostly because I was too high.
Maybe. I that's the thing. It's just jump scares are just, they don't get me anymore. You know, they kind of do. I will admit, watching it, there were moments where I was like, oh geez, but usually it has less to do with the actual like boom, loud noise, something pops out at you. It has more to do with the creepiness of the scene. Like it wasn't like in it. It was like it wasn't so much the big creepy noise that pops up or the thing jumping into frame or something. It was the subject matter. It was what it was doing, you know.
Jump scares are the cheapest and most accessible way to make your audience scared.
Yeah. But
once a jump scare happens, like you can see the build up of the jump scare, and it's almost like a Schrodinger's box kind of thing, because sometimes they do a fake out and sometimes they do a real one. But once the jump scare happens,
but almost universally when they do a fake out, that's almost immediately followed by a real one.
Most of the time. But the thing is, like once the jump scare happens and you know what it is, whether it's fake or not, then you're like,
it immediately fizzles out.
Yeah, it's like just like, okay, I know, like I get it.
Ah, you got me.
The real scary stuff would be
atmosphere.
And maybe show something on screen and you don't necessarily know what the hell happened.
Yeah.
I feel like that's
when you don't
know what happened to this certain character, or you don't know why this character reacted this way, or you don't know, something. The uncanny valley is a lot more scary than just like something jumping out at you in the screen.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a lot of they look like people. The thing is movies that do really good atmospheric horror are movies that also really kind of thrust you into the perception of perspective of your protagonist,
Mm-hmm.
So you feel creeped out while they're feeling creeped out about things in their environment. You know what I mean?
The Shining is a really good example of that.
Yeah, The Shining is fucking.
Because that's really like atmosphere.
And that's and pacing is a huge part of making things scary. Like The Shining drags on, but it makes the really creepy moments way creepier, because then those moments are allowed to drag on, and you just feel terrified throughout the whole thing.
Like imagine a character you care about is being chased by a killer.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm just imagining a man and a woman getting chased by a man.
Yeah.
The woman runs into the bathroom, and then the camera stays at the doorway, and then once the guy with the knife goes in, they're both in there, but you're outside of the room. So what if you were hearing like her struggling and him struggling, and then you hear like a big smash and they both stop and the camera just stays there for like a few seconds.
Yeah.
And then they cut away to a totally different scene.
Well,
wouldn't that be fucking scary?
That's the Leopard Man principle.
But yeah, not knowing what the hell happened would be the scariest part.
The most scary part is what you don't see. Like because it's from Tom Savini. Tom Savini talked about how one of the things that got him into wanting to do horror movies and effects was a movie called The Leopard Man, where it's this dude turns into a leopard or has properties of a leopard, something similar, and he murders a woman behind a door, but all you hear is her screaming and like blood coming from under the door and something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So he talked about how that was really influential for him when he watched that movie, because he was really scared, and it had to do with him filling it in. And he says that how the older he gets, the perception of what happened in that scene changes as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think that isn't a really important thing, to just not, what you don't show is just as important as what you do show.
And you can show someone getting stabbed to death, and it could be scary too.
Oh yeah.
But I just feel like the most terrifying thing would be not knowing.
Mm-hmm.
And your mind wants to assume the best, but naturally you're just going to assume the worst.
Yeah. And to each person, the worst is different, but it's the most terrifying to them.
Yeah.
That's the thing, and people really fuck up horror too, because they think. I feel like a lot of people think horror needs to be gory or needs to be supernatural. It needs to be a monster. It really doesn't. You can do really good horror with just people.
I feel like the horror movies that mainstream audiences are attracted to are the ones that are advertised as spectacle.
Yeah.
Like there's this crazy monster, or there's this crazy gimmick, or there's this crazy. Like I just want to see someone make a really simple maybe just kill her with a knife, but just direct it in a way that
really freaked you out. And I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's
Psycho?
half the reason why Get
Yeah,
Out
like
was
Psycho.
so good. Like Get Out is it's not entirely realistic, but like it feels very real, and it
Yeah.
really thrusts you into the, and you're always around your protagonist basically.
And I like how in Get Out, he makes sure to make the audience aware that the movie knows what they're thinking, you know, what they're
Yeah.
expecting. Because it's this black dude going to this white family dinner of his girlfriend's.
Yeah.
And I lost my train of thought.
Yeah.
No, but you expect, like...
I guess like
No,
whenever
okay.
he calls his friend and he talks about what's going on,
Yeah.
you get kind of a picture of his thoughts.
Well, yeah, the whole movie, it knows that you don't know if these people are actually like racist or, you know, a threat, or if
Or just
He's just
sinister or
imagining.
not.
or
yeah.
or if it's just, you know, a happy misunderstanding.
That's my problem with
Yeah.
Get Out, though, is they drop really obvious hints about the sinister nature way too soon and way too obvious.
Right.
That's
because they're so
only-
obvious.
That's the only fault, I think, of the
Because
movie.
they're so obvious. The people that are paying attention and trying to figure out really what's going on, you know, because they're so obvious, it makes you think they must do a twist thing where they're not actually evil, it's something else.
Yeah.
But then
Well-
it turns out they are, because it kind of just does two twists in it.
Well, I mean, it just ties back, because a lot of that movie is dramatic irony, where we know things that the main character doesn't,
Yeah.
and just having to watch the main character go about his stuff saying, oh my god, this shit might go down, and we
Yeah.
know what's going to happen, but they don't know what's going to happen. And I feel like that almost... I think Get Out would have been better if we didn't see those scenes. You know? Like if it was something... If we just got the hints, just more subtle... Because, again, there is a very distinct moment in Get Out. I won't say what it is, but that it's very obvious that shit is really going down, and these people are...
Has there ever
Well,
been like a horror movie where it turns out at the end the threat isn't even real?
Yeah. I can't think of one now, but I know
There is one, I don't want to say what it is, though, because that
Okay.
would ruin the movie.
But what I was going to say was that in Get Out, they kind of do two twists. So they do the one where it totally... When I was watching it, it totally convinced me that, you know, these people aren't actually a threat.
Oh, that's what you thought?
No, there's one point where it's like... I can't remember. I need to watch the movie again, but I know there's one point where the tension is diffused and everyone's like, oh, it was just a misunderstanding.
Yeah.
And then they build it up again.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I felt like that was pretty clever.
I don't know,
I wish I could have specific examples,
Any
but I
movie
can't
that
remember it.
I think thrusts you in the perception and the perspective of the character can be really creepy. Like, that's why Memento is really creepy. Because Memento presents itself in such a really disjointed way that you really feel like what the protagonist is feeling, and you don't actually put it all together until the end, you know, like the protagonist does.
Yeah, if you're making a movie about, you know, just this one guy, he is the protagonist.
Yeah.
And he's, you know, I feel like that's a really good angle to go with, is using the filmmaking techniques themselves to evoke what the character
That's why
is
first
going
season
through.
of Mr. Robot was really good, because it was how...
Most of the first season.
I don't know.
I didn't like the ending. I didn't like the second half of the season pretty
don't
much.
remember how the second half of the season went. I didn't like the very last episode. I remember not
But yeah,
liking it at all
anyway.
the way it ended.
In
But
Mr. Robot, yeah.
But like how the character is really fucked up, and he's like,
And the filmmaking style evokes that. Like,
Yeah.
there'll be like weird things you're shown. Like, you're shown stuff that the main character sees, and you see it too, but then it's not
but
real.
you're seeing it through his eyes, and it's very distorted, and
And there's a lot of weird cuts and stuff in certain scenes where the character's like doing drugs or something like that. I
yeah.
can't
Dude,
quite remember it.
Enter the
Honestly,
Void.
that is half the reason. That kind of perspective thing is half the reason why Enter the Void is so fucking crazy.
I'll
'Cause
need to
that
see
whole
it.
that
I
whole
didn't-
movie is. This doesn't spoil it, but the whole movie is first person, so it's a first
What?
person perspective.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh shit!
Well, kind of, but
It's not like
it's
it's not like Hardcore Henry, where it's strict first person the entire movie.
No.
no, but a significant chunk of the movie is a first person style perspective, and you really feel like you get really sucked into that movie where you feel like you're the main character.
You feel like you get sucked into the
like
void.
I couldn't
Yeah.
finish watching it because I felt like I tried watching it once, but I just felt sick in like the middle of it, and I was like, I can't watch.
It's also because the subject matter in that movie is really fucked up and really sad and depressing, and
So I need to rewatch it.
But that's the thing, I think Hardcore Henry is an example of that where first person is a gimmick, but Enter the Void, it's just
a storytelling
really
element.
Yeah, it's a storytelling element. Because the thing is the guy who made it, Gaspar Noé, he talks about how he doesn't care about the plot in the movie. He doesn't care about this stuff. He cares about it as a cinematic experience, something you pay, a pay the ticket, ride the ride sort of thing, So he doesn't like people taking scenes and picking them apart or something like that, or he doesn't like people focusing on the visuals of the movie because the visuals are really crazy, or the audio in the movie, or the plot at all, because the plot there's not much of a plot, kind of. It's mostly about the journey, and I think that's the other thing, is because he has that emphasis going into the movie when he's making that movie, it also makes it just feel a lot more immersive, and like you feel like you're there. The only other time I felt completely immersed, where I felt like I was the main character, is when I watched 2001 for the first time, and I was blitzed on acid, and I thought that I was in the spacesuit breathing, and I felt really, really, really nervous.
That was, I don't. The only scene from that movie I want to watch tripping is the end. Toward
the end is
the
so
tunnel.
weird.
The tunnel.
Yeah.
That'd be trippy to see. But I don't know if I'd want to watch the whole movie. I feel like I'd just get really.
I got really annoyed.
Like, really freaked out. Like.
Well, I was like when I remember watching it, I was already on the come up, I guess, and I just was like, fuck it, this is a classic movie to watch.
It probably was an experience.
Yeah, it was definitely an experience. I just got really annoyed by the first part of that movie. Was all the monkeys?
You got annoyed by that part? Why?
It was annoying because they had the dumbest. The roars they made were so fucking weird.
Dude,
sounding.
monkeys are awesome.
It was like they made the weirdest noise, and it just felt like it just tread on and on and on. The monolith was cool, and then when you get to and then you think, okay, bone gets thrown in the air, now we're in space and all this stuff, and you get to see all the cool sci-fi stuff, which even to this day feels actually kind of cool, watching them do all the... I like seeing people's interpretation of sci-fi, and it was weird to see that interpretation of sci-fi, where it's like almost retro-futuristic, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But and then just dialogue, and then crazy stuff.
I'd be more annoyed by the part after the apes, and when they're just...
Where it's the people talking to each other?
Yeah.
I felt... No, but that's the thing. When I felt... The thing is, when I was on acid watching that, I felt immersed. Like, I just need to sit there and locked. Like, I was focused. I was on point. I was ready to go. And I just wanted to hear the dialogue. I didn't feel bored. I wanted... Because, again, the first part of the movie is no dialogue. It was just monkeys and apes screaming at each other and beating shit up. I wanted something. I wanted some substance. I wanted some...
It does tell story that way. It's not like it just stays there longer than it needs to.
But it's just like...
I love that part. I
like that part too.
The makeup effects on those people playing the apes were really good.
I suppose. I don't know when the movie came out. Early 70s?
1969.
I'd want to act as a monkey in a movie. I think I'd be good.
It'd be fun.
Just mocap.
No, not mocap. I want to
Like
Just
wear a gorilla
practical.
suit.
Yeah, wear a gorilla
I
suit.
actually really want to see the last Planet what this was the last one, the War for the Planet of the Apes or something, because people said that was actually really good.
All of them are good. I'd say.
What, the new ones or
the new ones?
I haven't seen any of the new ones. That's the thing. I want to.
They're all good.
I watched the newest one. Yeah,
They're all
not
really good, actually.
Yeah, but the one before. The most recent
newest one.
I mean, they took a movie. Well, I haven't seen the newest one. I really want to see the newest one because I want to watch chimps ride horses.
Yeah,
really
cool. You like that visual of chimps riding horses?
Yeah, it's just wacky, but
monkeys.
I feel like they could pull it totally off, like serious.
So would you say those
It'd be
Planet of
weird.
the Apes movies are the movies that in the modern times beat your, like, completely shattered your expectations? Like, did you think they were going to be kind of hockey and
the first one? Yeah, the first one I got the impression that it was just, just
Smart
monkeys causing the apocalypse kind of thing. I don't know. I saw James Franco in it, and I wasn't too hopeful.
Smart monkey gets smart. But then I remember watching it and being like, "Holy shit, this was really good."
Yeah. I remember watching Straight Outta Compton. I thought this is gonna be just like a regular biopic. I got really sad when Eazy-E's in the hospital.
Good. That means they did a good job.
Yeah. They were really good actors in that movie. So I mean, I think that was part of the reason you really felt empathy for what the characters were going through.
Another thing it did really well was those kid actors were very good.
Oh yeah.
And the movie, the dialogue was really well written, I thought.
Yeah, it felt I don't know. There was one character I felt that really, the guy who plays
the Jewish
Stan
kid
sticks out like a sore thumb in terms of his acting, but all the other dialogue between the characters felt very natural, or at least between Bill, Richie, and Eddie felt really natural.
Dude, at the end when they're all hugging him, like that made me feel something.
You felt good?
I felt like that was a story resolution, and I was like, yes, this is what the characters deserve, and it just made me feel good.
I fought the law.
I fought the clown, and I won. Whoa!
I am the clown now.
Beat it up.
They all put on makeup, and then they're the clowns.
When did I beat up their clown?
So those
and they go
kids,
whoop whoop.
All those kids were floating at the end, and then they started floating down. I was expecting them to all land and then be like, "You saved us," and walk out. What the fuck happened?
Alive.
Was that
just like in Super 8?
Maybe they were all dead.
Were they all dead? Is that what that was?
I thought
there's no closure on that.
He eats kids.
Because in the original one, it's a spider. And what do spiders do? They wrap things up in their web, and they suck the juices out.
He was saving them for later.
Well, yeah, but maybe he doesn't actually. Maybe this movie was trying to steer away from the he eats kids more to the he eats the kids fears.
So he has to keep them alive.
And he was starving because
that's almost scarier. If you have to be kept alive.
Fear factories, yeah.
Although they did make it very clear that his little brother was dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he got his arm.
Maybe he was just there for too long, and maybe he just lasts like a year or so, and then you're dead. I don't know.
I couldn't really tell the time between Georgie's, death.
It was a year.
It was a year?
Yeah, they said it was 88.
Oh, I didn't see the 88. That's what.
Because it went. Yeah, because
I went to the year when it said June '89. I thought, okay. Oh, it was a whole year? Shit.
Yeah.
Damn, that kid's been in the sewer for a long time. He probably smells like dog shit.
I kind of liked how they didn't have any scenes where it's just the adults, like, talking.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, because that would ruin it.
I don't know if that would ruin it, but I haven't thought about it.
It's about the kids.
Well,
it's about their perception, and it's about...
The adults were, like, kind of brainwashed.
It kind of makes...
And how it torments them.
Yeah.
I was going to say it makes all the adults seem mean and evil, but I guess that's kind of the perspective of the kids if... your parents are abusing you.
Fuck adults.
Yeah, most of the adults in that movie
Everybody
are not good at people.
All the parents shown except Bill's parents.
Yeah.
Are fucking abusive.
Yeah, they're really bad.
Yeah, and even when they did show like Bill's parents, they were like kind of hostile.
You didn't even see his mom. Was his mom?
You did when she was playing piano.
Yeah.
But it was like dark music. She was playing like creepy music, and it's the only time you really see it.
Maybe that's the secret.
I don't know.
Maybe it had turned into a woman, had a child with Bill's dad, and that's the sequel.
I think
Bill has to take on the role as the son of it.
I think it was about, holy shit, it's just about abuse.
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's
the idea is that
it's certainly a theme in the book and
because the idea of Pennywise is that he feeds on your fear, and if you ignore him, he only gets stronger.
Yeah.
So if you think that's like you getting abused, and if you ignore it and say it's not happening, it's just gonna have more power.
And of course we get the very heavy-handed theme layering where what do I want to say? Where they're packing it on that this is a theme is the kids standing up to their parents right before they go out and take
that part I felt was rushed. That's definitely one of the parts I felt was rushed.
That's pretty
because
obvious.
the sick kid where his mom was giving him his mom was giving him placebos to convince him that he was sick so that she could keep him in the house.
No, gazebos.
They should have just showed a scene where he's like being a little rebellious earlier on, And then that would make sense that he would be like, fuck you, Mom. But it's just, it all happens at once. He's just like, these are placebos. Fuck you, Mom, I'm leaving.
I will say, though, when he first leaves his house and his mom's just like... It reminded me of like a David Lynch thing, though, where his mom's just sitting there in front of the TV, just really ballooned up and just kind of like...
sitting in the dark.
Really creepy, but like, and quiet, you know? Yeah.
But like, what is it with Bill, then?
That's just trauma.
It's trauma.
Just,
either abuse or trauma. I mean, trauma comes from abuse anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, the only kid who seemed to be like not have at least somewhat there. Stan, the Jewish kid, didn't have a really fucked up past. Nor did the fat kid.
His father was a pastor.
I think the abuse.
Rabbi.
I think the movie's more about mainly dealing with the trauma. So the fat kid was under trauma because wasn't he moving all the time?
Yeah, he was new.
Yeah, he was moving all the time.
Yeah.
And he gets bullied and shit and doesn't have friends. So
and
there's
also when he's reading about the history of dairy and how horrible things he's probably bumming him out to.
And I think the Jewish kid he feels a lot of pressure about they said his dad was the rabbi, and he doesn't even know the Torah, so he obviously feels a lot of pressure about his religion. And
I think like the actual Stephen King book was kind of like a metaphor for like puberty or whatever.
Oh yeah.
So, this isn't really like that, but it's like, like a metaphor of like childhood trauma.
Yeah, and it has a very good message of, if you ignore the problems, they won't go away, they'll just get worse.
Yeah.
So they're like, fuck it, we'll kill a clown.
I thought it was really, in the TV movie, and I don't know if they do this in the book, where if they believe something will harm it actually does.
Oh, it works with chaos magic. You know what chaos magic is?
No.
Chaos magic is from
Sonic.
It's from the Warhammer universe.
Okay.
And
because it's the chaos gods, right? In the Warhammer universe.
Chaos magic is basically if you believe it's true, it is. So there's these orcs or something where they have weapons that are just pretty much planks of wood. That's all they are. But they're told by their leaders, and they believe, and they're enchanted with chaos magic, that these are guns. So they'll actually fire stuff if they believe it's an actual gun.
That's pretty crazy.
And stuff like that. Like, they'll paint their ships blue because that makes them faster, and they'll paint them red because it makes them, it makes them attack harder or something.
That's funny.
And it actually does. It literally does.
Jeez, that's...
But anyway.
But, so in the TV movie, they get silver slugs, because they believe that silver is like this be-all, end-all monster killer,
You mean like shotgun slugs? Or
no, slugs? like little rocks. Like little silver pyrite sort of kind of style things. And they shoot it with a slingshot, and the only reason it hurts... And then there's a scene in the TV movie where the kid with the asthma inhaler, Eddie, he sprays it, and he says, "This is battery acid, you slime," and he sprays him, and it actually melts part of his face.
Well, that would make sense, because it's kind of just...
Well, they talk about that in this movie, in this new It, where there's the 3 doors, and he says, "Oh, this isn't real, you just have to go through and..."
Right. There were 3 doors. One of them said, "Not scary at all, scary, and very scary." So I thought the trick was you had to go through the very scary door.
Yeah.
And I guess you didn't. You could just go through any door if you believed it went to the right place.
I thought that part was actually... that was both funny and really creepy.
Yeah.
Just the 3 doors and
But going back to ignoring problems, they had one line where, they're talking about all the missing kids and all the posters, and they're getting... There's so many missing kids that the posters are just getting taped over other missing kid posters. And then there's one line where he's like... He's trying to convince him to go to the Pennywise lair, and... He's like, "What, are you just going to ignore that this is happening the rest of the town?" So it's saying that everybody why this is happening to this town is because everybody's just ignoring that these kids are going missing.
They're just like, well, another kid missing.
They also, again, they talk about this in the book where they say that its presence dampens the town to notice that things are wrong.
Yeah. So, when the kid was getting bullied,
the 2 people in the car.
The 2 people
and
passed.
Then it was just 2 normal people driving by and just ignoring it, but then they had the little balloon pop up.
Yeah.
So that's saying,
Pennywise
that's helping out Pennywise.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
The Pennywise was
because that's the thing. The kid in the movie talks about how dairy, it's 6... People go missing there at 6 times the national average, and for kids it's worse.
Yeah, you'd think adults would notice that.
You'd be like, okay, hold the phone. Let's start watching our kids and things.
But you could be right. The fact that Pennywise is there is that It's dampening their
He's
reasoning
kind of like
skills in that
brainwashing the parents.
Or he could be the one making the parents. Maybe it happened to the parents, and that's why they're abusive, because they never dealt with it.
So Pennywise sucks their souls out, and then turns them into horrible, abusive monsters.
Well, I don't know about sucking their souls out, but
that's a commentary on how abuse passes through generations.
Yeah.
You abuse one kid, and you fuck him up, and then that kid has kids, and he abuses his
27
kids.
years is like a generation.
And it happens without, therapy or, ways to deal with it healthily.
Mm. It Came from Beyond the Stars. I wish that was the alternate title for this movie.
Wasn't that about killer clowns too? Or no? There was a movie called something like that about...
It Came from Beyond Space? Or
It came from outer space
Clowns
or
from
something.
outer space.
Clowns from outer space. Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Which is a genuinely enjoyable movie.
I've never seen it. I want to.
It's bad, but it's so fun to watch.
It's fine.
It's so fun to watch.
The clowns are so freaky looking in the movie. They do not look normal at all. They look horrible. And the weird things they have, where they have acid-filled pies and popcorn guns.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm just laser guns.
I'm so burnt out on scary clowns.
You are?
Now we're just gonna see more of them because this movie's so good and so many people.
Yeah,
have seen it.
that's possibly the big downside of
Yeah, like they're
this
making
movie making so
But
much
I mean,
money is we're gonna get a scary clown wave.
A scary clown is a very specific, thing, but basically anybody can dress up as one for Halloween or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But it's this very specific design.
I still know what I'm going for Halloween.
What?
Quiblo.
What the fuck? I can't remember what that is.
Look up. It's Whopper and a 40.
What?
Look up
totally
Whopper.
ringing a bell, but I can't.
Look up Whopper and a 40.
How do you spell this?
I think I'm gonna go.
Just type in Whopper and a 40. Just like a Whopper, like the hamburger.
I want to go as Gordon Cole from Twin Peaks.
That'd be good, yeah.
I want to have the little
Whopper
device.
and a 40, and it says right below it was Whopper and a 40 lyrics. Quiblo 101.
Quiblo,
What?
Whopper and a 40. It's made by Brad Neely.
What do you mean you'll dress up as Quiblo?
Just watch it. Just
It's
watch
a guy
it.
on a skateboard, and in one hand he has a Whopper, and in another hand he's got a
Watch
40.
it. Watch it. Just watch it. I dare you to just
look, there it is.
You will understand once you watch.
You got the hair for it, Jake. I'll
Oh
say
yeah,
that.
dude, that's all you gotta do is just grab a 40, a Whopper, and your skateboard, and that's your
Exactly.
Yeah.
And take my shirt off. Exactly. It's perfect. It's a perfect Halloween costume.
You guys ever had a dishwasher 40?
What?
It was something we when I was back at Madison, we did we'd do drinking challenges, and then we'd have punishments for them, and one of the punishments was
Drink dishwasher fluid.
where we would you take a 40 and you would stick it in a dishwasher and have it run, so the 40 would get really warm, and then you drink it. Warm
Ew.
alcohol
That
is
sounds
disgusting. It's
Warm 40.
warm. It's a really
Warm malt liquor.
warm to hot 40, and it's very uncomfortable to drink.
But yeah, if you watch that video, you'll understand. So after this,
Quiblo.
we have to watch
I
it.
thought you were talking about the thing in Kuso.
No,
What was the? You know,
Mr. Squiggle.
Mr. Quiggles.
Mr. Quiggle.
Mr. Quiggles.
Mr.
John, you
Quiggle.
still need to watch Kuso and experience the horror. That movie really blew my expectations, though. Like I came because I remember I watched like a trailer or I'd seen screenshots or like.
And you're like, yeah, that looks pretty messed up.
I thought, that looks pretty messed up. And I heard, like, people, like, they would just describe one little snippet of one little scene, and I was like, wow, that's really...
And then you
really
watch
creepy.
it, and you're like,
watch it, and it's just like, oh,
wow, that's
God.
really messed up.
Yeah,
It's like,
that Flying Lotus is something else. I bet you all that time at Adult Swim warped his brain.
yeah,
I wouldn't. Yeah.
that's,
He wears those big glasses.
that's what's
all the
great
time.
about Adult Swim.
Adult Swim is destroying and poisoning our youth. Is that what you're saying? It really scares them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think is the most disturbing show that's been on Adult Swim? The show that made you go, okay, this is a little much for Adult Swim.
Ooh,
Because you're the
Mr.
adults.
Pickles.
What is Mr. Pickles?
It's about a dog that's possessed by Satan or
It's
something.
not even funny.
And all it is just the cheapest fucking gross out humor you've ever seen. Every character is a complete fucking idiot, and not in a funny way.
And they look disgusting.
And everybody is an idiot. Everybody's an asshole. Everybody's disgusting. and there's no straight man in it. It's just all these just stupid, angry characters, and a dog that does depraved sex acts and kills people.
Do people like the show, or is it like universal?
It has its fan base. It has its fan base, so Adult Swim wants to keep it. And the thing about it that sucks is they picked up that show, and then apparently, soon after they picked it up, Chris O'Neill...
They didn't want to pick up Hellbenders because they already had a show about a satanic dog.
They pitched Hellbenders to Adult Swim, and they were told that people liked it a lot. They liked the idea a lot, but they couldn't take it because they already had a show that dealt with hell and demonic stuff, which was Mr. Pickles.
They had Mr. Pickles and that other show about like a dude who works in hell.
They would be... Yeah, Your Pretty Face is Going to Hell. That show's decent, but... Oh my god, Hellbenders would be so much better than Mr. Pickles.
Mr. Pickles...
We are living in the dark universe.
The show has a 7.4 on IMDb.
It's
what,
not
Mr. Pickles?
Yeah.
It's not
That's
it's
ridiculous.
Not good.
It should be should be like at least a 4.
Okay, then what do you think is the most normal thing that's been put on Adult Swim?
Family Guy?
Yeah.
Family Guy was on Adult Swim?
Yeah, that's how it got popular. After it got canceled, Adult Swim picked it up and ran it. And then
really?
That's how it got its following.
Oh, when did it get canceled?
It got canceled after like 2 seasons or after the first season or something because it was originally on Fox. Yeah. And then they were flipping around its time schedule airing schedule so much that nobody could catch it.
Oh, okay.
And it never got any ratings. But then they were running on Adult Swim, and like all the potheads watch Adult Swim late at night, and they'd think Family Guy was really funny. Yeah. So.
Because I was gonna say like Robot Chicken maybe, because Robot Chicken's humor is.
Robot Chicken is weird though.
Robot Chicken is them just referencing shit from the '80s for the most part, isn't it?
Well, yeah, and it's usually obscure shit too.
I suppose.
Yeah.
Usually, like their big stuff is like He-Man and Sailor Moon and stuff like that. But
Voltron and G.I. Joe.
They reference some weird stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
Seth Green.
What's another like really normal show that was on
Adult Swim?
Adult Swim.
Moral Oral.
What?
I don't know what
Moral
that is.
Oral?
Yeah, it's a claymation about this kid living in a really religious town, and it's like really obvious how it's anti-religion, but.
What about like? I mean, Adult Swim is
like Rick and Morty is on
very
Adult
broadly
Swim.
known.
That's
well,
pretty...
okay, yeah, then Rick and Morty maybe. Like Rick and Morty has had, in my understanding of it, has had very like weird out there kind of stuff in its episodes and things like that.
But it's mostly pretty normal.
But
it's pretty damn accessible.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like it's different.
I can't tell if people like this new season or they really hate it. Because I've heard people really going back and forth in this season.
Most people really like it.
Because I heard people say the latest episode they made was one of the best in the show's history.
Yep.
And then the episode before was one of the worst in the show's history or something like that.
I would say it's one of the worst.
I haven't watched any of it.
But up until this most recent episode, I really have not been liking the new season so much because they do a lot of... they always do this, like... drama shit to their characters that I never really was quite on board with, but they did clever things with it.
You think the show this new season stuck with being fun? Well,
yeah. I feel like they, for some reason, they felt compelled because, you know, Rick is so smart and he's a master of all these universes and science and shit that
they have to give him weaknesses,
and they have to the narrative of the show has to reflect that in some way, I think, is what they felt. So they felt the show should be smart and put in like smart drama stuff. And
do you think that
they just laid on too heavy in this
trying to like humanize Rick, or like try to make him seem more vulnerable as a way to prevent people from like taking after him?
No,
you know what I mean. Like
no,
because I feel like people
he seems more powerful.
End up idolizing
I feel like
that character to very bad ends.
I feel like the main reason is they feel like they need to write it in a smart way, and to them developing the character is a pretty smart thing to do.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I feel like Rick and Morty could have really efficiently functioned as just like an adventure of the week kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
But then again, that's not Justin Roiland or Dan Harmon's sensibilities. So,
especially not Dan Harmon, who has to make everything deep.
Yeah, I think it's mostly Dan Harmon doing most of the drama stuff.
Dan Harmon.
Like, yeah, Justin Roiland just like...
Dan Harmon is convinced he is a genius, and we all have to suffer for it.
He just like
Justin
silly
Roiland,
voices. Like
back when it was...
started it, didn't
back when it was just a straight up Back to the Future parody.
Yeah.
And it was like a web,
Doc
it was like a
and-
shitty
it was
web
just
series.
Doc
yeah.
and Marty.
Yeah.
Doc and Marty.
And it was just Justin Roiland doing it, and
Yeah.
it was totally just like poop jokes and fart jokes and
Yeah.
all that. It never had any like character development. Or
It's
anything,
more
'cause-
just, like,
'cause Justin Roiland
ironic.
just saw it as like just draw stupid man with the stupid boy and do stupid things.
That's the kind of humor that I like. It's just like ironic stupidity.
Yeah.
It's like
oh my god, what's that show with the dude with the snake arm?
Xavier Renegade Angel.
That show is a fucking classic.
I fucking love that shit.
Is that like an actual, like, is that just like a web show, or is it on Adult
It was
Swim?
on Adult
It was
Swim.
really on Adult Swim. That's where it aired.
Yeah.
And it's like got a cult following then from it?
Yeah.
I just remember you
love
watching
Xavier
clips from it on YouTube, and I was just looking over. I was like, what?
We were
what
watching
the
whole episodes.
Yeah.
And I couldn't understand where.
Yeah, 'cause
At
those are
some point when you
15-minute
watch
episodes.
really fucked up stuff, you have to go. I really want to meet the person who came up with this.
Yeah.
Because I need to know if they're actually normal. You know, I can't.
I like.
I feel like the person who made that it's just he doesn't care about crafting a good story. He just cares about how he can fit in jokes anywhere.
That's what I
And I feel like he just sits down and writes the whole thing in 2 minutes.
I feel like
half
if
of the
I tried to
humor-
rate.
I feel like half of the humor of Xavier Renegade Angel is because it's animated so shittily.
Yeah.
Like that's part of it too.
I feel like if I tried to write a show, it'd be something like that. Where it's just
Probably.
like-
Just random shit. The guy, he needs to eat an egg because the snake told him so, and now he's like inside his own butthole, and then that's really what Xavier
Isn't that-
he
Renegade
eats an
Angel
egg,
is.
but the egg gives him like salmonella poisoning.
Yeah, and then he starts eating babies.
Isn't that what Axe Cop was all about? It's like Axe Cop was just ridiculous stuff,
Axe Cop's
cascading off of ridiculous stuff.
X-Cop's gimmick was it was written by a little kid.
Yeah,
So it does try to follow
Avocado
logic,
soldier.
it just can't.
but yeah.
Avocado soldier.
Avocado soldier.
What? Is that an Axe Cop thing?
It's like
Yeah.
dinosaur soldier got bitten and turned into avocado.
I remember
soldier.
I remember watching like a YouTube where it was like one of the first Axe Cop things. It was just a YouTube thing. I was just dying, thinking it was hilarious. And then I found out they turned it into an actual show.
Axe Cop got
What,
out of
Axe Cop?
hand.
Yeah.
Like they made a Munchkins expansion based on Axe Cop.
Really?
Yeah, I swear it was something like that.
Wait. Oh no, I was thinking we knew somebody that
fucking
knows somebody
Munchkin
involved with Axe Cop, but it was there's a band, Lich King, and they wrote a song about Axe Cop because they know the guy who is the older brother of the kid who wrote Axe Cop.
Oh, that's funny. Wait,
Lich King is a thrash metal band.
so John, is LOL random humor gonna take over the universe, or do you think we're gonna
I don't
steer
know.
this ship away from the rocks?
I think it's not low random anymore. It's lol irony,
Yeah,
and I don't know what we'll do after that.
the thing with Renegade Angel.
Honestly, I think we're just gonna get into a postmodern phase with jokes and humor where things are gonna be so
Dude.
ironic or so out there we won't be able to tell if they're trying to actually tell a joke or if they're just being stupid.
Postmodernism has invaded reality itself.
Yeah,
Donald
no.
Trump is the president, man.
Exactly.
How
No,
ironic is that?
like people are. There's news stories
And his
about
supporters
memes.
are Nazis who aren't actually Nazis.
Yeah.
Like
Nazis and white and
Isn't
fucking
it
racist.
weird? Like at some point you start pretending like you're a Nazi to make fun of people on the left just for lols and just
Yeah.
to troll people, and then suddenly you start attracting actual Nazis, and now you can't even discern people joking and people being
and then
serious.
you get to the point, if you commit to it enough, you get to the point where you're like, do I actually believe I don't like Jews or what?
I mean,
What's
like,
going on?
Isn't that one of those internet laws or whatever, like Godwin's, where it's like, the longer an argument goes on the internet, the closer there will be a comparison to Hitler? Isn't there something like you can never be able to tell whether someone is being serious or joking? On the internet?
Yeah,
Because I feel like
Just 'cause
people
the nature of it.
people don't realize that if you...
because there's really stupid people.
It's funny. It's funny when you're just messaging your friend and saying, I hate Jews or something.
Yeah,
I mean, that can be
genius,
funny.
yeah.
It's just like a shock little thing that's just, haha, it's funny that he would say that because I know he doesn't believe that.
I distinctly remember posting.
Not everyone knows that.
When you're out in the wild on a random just Facebook post and you think, wouldn't it be funny if I just said like racist things? I don't actually believe it, but it'd be funny because people would.
Because people know I'm not.
And then you get to the point
but the thing is-
where they realize that they can't say these things in the open, so they masquerade it around like scientific racism. Like, I'm not racist, it's just statistics.
Well,
and
that's
all these
totally
things.
different. I'm just talking about people that are trying to be ironically funny.
Yeah.
So the question
So
is...
it's developed from the point of like, XD, kill all the Jews, to just kill all the Jews. And if people know you and they know you don't want to do that, and you're not a white supremacist, then it's funny to them. But if they don't know that, you could be just some random asshole saying you want to kill the Jews and you believe that.
Yeah.
Like, even if you're... like,
so you need to know...
It's kind of disturbing how much the line has been blurred between serious and
it's just,
comedy.
I don't know why some people aren't aware of context.
Yeah. Like, the thing is...
I think it's a two-way street, though. I think at some point, people who are on the receiving end of those jokes have to be like, okay... You have to realize that these people, that a lot of these people aren't actually racist, and they're just being funny. Maybe it's not your brand of humor. And then the other end of the spectrum, you got to realize, okay, maybe these people shouldn't be getting really crazy with this Nazi stuff, because that's something that can be, that they have to know can be misconstrued.
But if you want to be
bad ends.
If you want to be the funny guy, like, it's always escalating.
And it's funnier being acting like you're serious about it.
And we know
it makes it funnier.
But we know it's going to get worse because, again, the big boogeyman is Nazi stuff on the internet now. Following the stuff that happened following Charlottesville, like, it's really, like things are just getting inflamed where...
What is everything
everyone
now?
is either witch-hunting Nazis, or people are, like, openly loud and proud Nazi, or people are like, obscuring it. It's just... I can't
Are Confederates Nazis now?
Yeah.
I guess.
Like, what is this? What is this coming to?
Maybe this was Adolf Hitler's ultimate goal.
Yeah.
His goal was to create... All out. He creates a purposefully horrible ideology, and then he destroys it, right? And he goes off into Argentina and just waits for a little while.
Okay.
So I'm going to
Fakes his death.
Fakes his death, yeah. And then he waits decades later when people have blurred the lines about whether or not Nazism is acceptable.
Seals himself in a cryogenic chamber
right next to Walt Disney.
Right next to Walt Disney to live long enough to see this. And then he comes out and
the Nazis have again taken over, but it's an ironic empire.
Yeah. No, what if it gets to the point where, like, people start genociding races? Because it's like, we wouldn't actually do this, but they're just, like, killing
we are doing it. It's funny because we actually are.
It's actually disturbing that people... That honestly... Because the thing, people have already started killing other human beings. Like, I mean, we've had Charlottesville, we've had the guy who tried to stab, like, a Muslims on like a train in Portland.
Yeah.
And it's like, at some point, how do you still justify your actions? Like, how really can you keep justifying? Like, how deluded do you have to be to think that killing someone is solving a problem?
Exactly.
You know?
Like, people are stupid. That's the thing. That's the thing about arguing on the internet.
To people are idiots?
Is there really are people that are that stupid, and there really are people that believe that. So you can't be sure that this person actually does believe it or not.
Think about... With the advent... That ties back in the controversy recently about PewDiePie saying, you know, on the stream. Like, maybe he doesn't actually I don't think PewDiePie is a racist at all.
No, I don't think so.
You know, I think maybe he certainly needs to tone it down a bit because I mean he's had both this anti-Semitic thing and I think he's just an idiot in regards to, you know.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's already been through so much shit, and then he says that on stream. I feel that's just stupid. But the thing is, it's not so much him saying it; it's the people who are listening to it. Like, he's probably revered as a pseudo god by a bunch of kids who just watch his live stuff. I mean, he's got
so now the kids think it's okay.
Subscribers on YouTube, and he's got however many millions daily views and things like that.
Too many.
How many kids are watching that as a percentage share?
Probably
a lot. And how many are seeing what he's doing and thinking this is okay? That's where the
that's the worst thing. Well, like even with it goes along with like parents too, like parents that believe in shitty stuff. Like
I think
their kids think it's okay too.
I think people are more crazy and have more extreme views. I don't know if it's more or not, but I feel like we're seeing all these people because the internet exists.
Yeah.
And there's so much.
And
they have a place to congregate.
There is so much fake news on the internet.
Yeah.
That I think people just naturally distrust all the information they get from authority figures at this point. A lot of people, because
they're seeing a rise in alternative.
Because they're like, well, if this story I read online isn't true, but it's so well written and it looks like it's sourced well and all that, but it's not true. And this is true, but it's not even sourced, and it's poor grammar. And who's to tell if if the Earth is even round? Like that's how flat earthers come up. Is they're banking on the distrust of information.
Yeah.
And
Even though you actually can.
The other thing is that that whole idea of distrusting media and thinking, oh, it's written well and the sources seem right. At what point are we just gonna let's be honest, the internet has almost certainly significantly shortened people's attention spans. At what point do people... Have you ever actually, in an internet argument, actually, checked sources and, read through it to find the information? Do people...
I've done a couple times, actually.
It's just... I feel like people are coming less and less inclined to do that, to actually research and find things out. So they're not willing to find out that what they've believed is just bullshit. They'll fall into these conspiracy theories and all these things.
People really like to feel that they're special.
And they're right.
Well, and...
People like to believe that they're special. And if they have a view that goes against the popular, assumption or information, then... And they can find enough of a reason with them to reason with themselves that they believe that, then they feel special. They feel like they're a warrior on the underdog side, And we can't have a whole world full of underdogs. It's just impossible.
That's the thing. The internet is very much its own universe, where
and
where it's very equalizing, where everyone is on the same ground.
And the thing about the internet is you can craft your own identity.
Yeah.
Your internet identity can be completely different from your real life identity.
Oh,
Yeah.
So if you're a person that's always been, not that popular, or maybe you have some sort of physical deformity, I don't know, but some reason why you don't really connect with people in the real world, you could totally craft your internet identity and connect with people online.
Yeah.
Do you think
And it also helps you trick people easier, too.
Yeah.
You could be a fucking moron in a basement on a laptop and convince people on the internet and message boards that you're some scholar, you're some fucking genius who knows how the world really works or something.
Do you think there's anyone that's really... This sounds horrible, but do you think there's anyone that's really crippled and can't move out of their house, but always spends times on fitness forums and stuff, acting like they're buff?
Yes,
definitely.
There's no way.
I know that.
Maybe not even to actually contribute, but maybe just to fuck with people.
Yeah.
At some point, half of the internet is just people fucking with people.
The internet is... I still can't wrap my mind around it.
It's gross.
Just anybody on Earth
The internet was a mistake.
can talk to anybody else on Earth.
Yeah.
Essentially. And except the really shitty third world countries where nobody...
Yeah.
Which is why the third world countries and lost, native tribes in the rainforest and shit are so weird now.
Yeah, did you see that story about those miners in Brazil who killed a tribe or a bunch of people?
They killed 10 people.
Yeah, which is really fucked up.
But
maybe the internet's destroying our empathy.
The internet is just, it turns from,
this amazing
countries and
prospering global vision of globalization to we have just created another world. Do you realize how shitty our world is to begin with?
We've created a festering cesspool where people with horrible ideas can
congregate
with people with equally horrible ideas.
Back in 1000 AD, all you knew was,
what was around you.
What's around you, the
Pick
people
those
around
berries.
you, what you see, what you hear through hearsay, and possibly letters.
Yeah.
It wasn't like you could just go online and ask a question and have it answered.
Yeah.
Which you can do today.
I think I saw something that you get more people get more news today about what's going on in the world in a single day than someone in the 1800s would in their whole lifetime or something. Yeah. So which is gross. I mean,
I don't know if it's gross. I think it's great.
An information overload,
I don't know if it's possible to overload.
That's what I was saying though with Jake. With the internet, we have created almost a clone of the real world. Obviously, it behaves differently. It's more equalizing, but
everyone that agrees with each other is.
But while we have taken a lot of the good things of the real world, the interconnectivity, the some great things can happen through the internet. We have crowdsourced a guy making potato salad on the internet. That's amazing. It's really stupid, good? But it's amazing. We've also taken all the really fucked up parts of the world and put it on the internet.
Yeah.
Because anyone can use it, Something that's that open and accessible.
All the fucked up people can support each other.
I think there's always going to be a constant push and pull between good elements of the internet and bad elements of the internet. I don't think the bad elements are ever going to go away.
No.
Because that's just human nature.
Yeah. But
Google makes some insane AI that's able to like just scrub everything.
Just the fact that you can know almost any piece of information you're wondering about. You can know just looking it up online.
Isn't it kind of disturbing though that?
And it's almost like humanity is more connected than it's ever been.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean that's actually probably true.
That is true, yeah.
For sure.
Well, you know what really bugs me though is when is now the looking something up on the internet is synonymous with Googling it, where a company's name has become a verb for doing this, and it kind of it actually makes me really question it when. How do we know? Like Google is,
because it's not like
it is the universal search engine.
Exactly.
It is what almost certainly most people are.
It's almost
but it's under private control.
But that's the thing. It's under private control. How do we know that we can trust who's ever
it's the equivalent to like when you go get a drink saying, "Oh, I'm gonna go take a Coca-Cola." Is like
I guess
using
down
an equivalent to
down in the South they call all pop Coca-Cola.
Coke Except I thought they really like Mountain Dew in the South. Because it sounds
like Mountain Dew everywhere.
Because Mountain Dew is slang for moonshine, so maybe that has something to do with it.
They like Faygo too.
Oh my god, you guys! We got into pretty deep shit here.
But on the bright side,
the internet sucks. That's my conclusion.
But on the bright side,
the internet was a mistake.
The internet was the divine intervention.
The internet.
That's what I say.
So in this,
amazing.
with our contrast, the internet has created the Schrodinger's opinion, where the internet is both simultaneously the greatest and worst thing ever created.
I think judging the internet is judging humanity itself. Honestly,
it's taking humanity and bottling it up behind a screen.
Yeah,
that's gross.
Whoop whoop.
What were you gonna say, Jake?
Oh, I was saying on the bright side, John only has to wait 3 more years.
Till what?
Oh yeah.
What the fuck?
That's true.
I'm really confused.
John just only has to wait 3
He only has to wait 3 more years, and then
This is great.
Let's just end this here.
Yeah.
See you guys.
See you 3 years later.
Yeah, see you 3 years later.